Hello everybody. Can you hear me? Is the sound working? Hello everybody. Seems to work. So let's see here. Working as well. So it would be nice to if you could give me some feedback if everything works on your side. Gary James, thumbs up. Seems to work. Thanks for coming by. I will just quickly set up a few things and then we're going to work more on the goblin character that we started 3 weeks ago, I think, or 4 weeks. I think it's the 4th stream right now for this one. Logan stream. YouTube stream looking and sounding fine on my end for the feedback. Cool. So I hope you're all having a nice day wherever you are. Fapping toes and Twitch is working fine as well. Thanks for the feedback. Cool. So yes, for everyone that came here for the first time, or just as a recap for the last streams, we started with the goblin character here. We started blocking out the character in a T-pose, and in the last stream I put the character into the pose that you see here, and it's all based on the drawing that I did that you can see in the background. So the aim with this character is to be printed as a miniature. There's a small figure that you can use for D&D or Warhammer or something like that. And this is similar to the creature here. And it's a ghoul that I made for one of my earlier videos on my channel. So this will be the aim for this character here as well. So I think I should get everything in place today and maybe even at the base as well, so that I can do all the last cleanups after the stream and show you the finished print on the next stream. And I will probably post some pictures on my Discord server that I started for the Patreon page that I have. And so everyone that's on my Patreon will see the finished result early. So yeah, this is the current state. I think we're tidying up a few things, the armor plates, and adding a few more accessories like small bags on the belt and cleaning up certain things. And then at the base. So Joao, hey, thanks for coming by again. Reedies, oh nice, I want to learn Blender but I'm so lazy. Yeah, it's always an adventure to dive into new software, but it's worth the effort, and you can make it a quite fun process if you watch tutorials that you just enjoy watching, and maybe you enjoy following them as well. So Logan, will you do all the printing prep setup in Blender or will you move to ZBrush for that? I will probably use both ZBrush and Blender, since I will probably combine everything into one mesh. And since this is going to be very high poly, which requires a lot of polygons to hold all the details, I will probably use ZBrush for that. What you could do is to do a manual retopology of the whole character in Blender and then reproject everything with the shrink wrap modifier, I think. I think that should work. Someone suggested that to me. And then you could do the same in Blender as well. But since I have ZBrush already and know it quite well, I think it makes more sense for me to do that. I think for other creatures, I'm thinking about doing small critters. that are simpler in their how do you say it? They don't have as many accessories and cloth and stuff, so just small creatures that are basically one object. I think I will do a video where I do everything in Blender. So the whole process from yeah, starting from a sphere, blocking everything out, and then exporting it into Cheetahbox. So with this character, this is more complex, so it makes more sense for me to jump into ZBrush and clean it up there. A long answer for, I will move to ZBrush for a few steps. Alanth, Sun's Rider, hey, back. Hope you're having a nice day. So, yeah, long story short, I think we can dive into the later stages of the sculpting. So what I will probably do first is to flesh out the armor plates on his arm a bit more, and then make a new duplicate to the other side. So let's get into the sculpting tab here. And I did something similar to the, or the same process I did for the knee pads. I prepared a little bit of the accessories before the stream. So yeah, I will basically do the same to the arm plates as I did to the knee. So you can see how I did those as well. So I think let's see for the topology. Seems a little bit stretched, so I will remesh it. And I go fairly dense just to hold all the details. Something like that probably. Yeah, that works fine. So I will use the draw brush and I set up a sharp fall off. This one here, sharp, and I reduced the spacing so I get a sharper edge. And I will create a rim around the armor plate. So yeah, I wanted it to be a bit more pointy. So I'm using the move brush, the grab brush, and put it in place. Doesn't have to be super perfect clean here, since I want to damage it anyways, and put scratches on it and make some irregularities on it. So yeah, I can be a bit bumpy here, but only because I want to have it damaged in the end. So just creating a sharper point here. And all the gaps that you can see here, I will later close all of that to make it easier for printing. But since this is a very tedious work, I think it makes most sense to do it outside of the stream. Or if you're interested in that, I can do it on stream as well. But yeah, my impression is that it could be rather boring to watch. So just going around, cleaning up the edges a little bit so that the silhouette is working. Like that. And now I can go in with the draw brush Will probably increase the strength a little bit. I don't have to press as hard. And a feature that comes in handy here as well is to switch the radius unit to scene. So the this is a bit buggy at the moment. But what it basically does is to have it creates a consistent stroke radius. So no matter if you zoom in or zoom out, the stroke has the same thickness on the surface that you sculpt on. So the spacing here is too far apart, so it creates these dots. Let's go down here, maybe put it at 1. This is smoother but less strong. Yeah, we'll leave it at 1. And I will increase the strength on the other side. I think that should work. And as always, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to write that in the chat. And yeah, I'm always happy to answer your questions, show you if you want to have something clarified. It doesn't take too long. And yeah, since this is my first sculpt that I'm, like a first proper project that I'm doing in Blender, it's a new process for me as well. And the aim for that was to get a comparison between ZBrush and Blender and see how I can incorporate that into my workflow. Logan, may I ask what tablet display do you work on? I'm currently using the Wacom Intuos Pro M. It's a mid-sized graphics tablet from Wacom. It's a bit more on the expensive side, but I also have the Huon Canvas 13 Pro, which is cheaper than this graphics tablet. And the Huon Canvas 13 Pro is actually a display tablet, so it's similar to a Cintiq, and it's way cheaper, and it's actually really good as well, so I can recommend both. Mapping to Zen. Which would you rather fight, 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I would fight 100 duck-sized horses. I mean, if they come in waves, or if I'm able to run away from them, I can take them out one by one. There are quite a lot, but ducks can bite pretty hard. So if they're the size of a horse, they could easily snap me in half. So yeah, I would rather use the 100 duck-sized horses. Who would you rather fight? Yeah, that yeah, I'm not sure if that's of any use for me. The giant egg could make a great omelette, maybe. I don't know. It's carve in here. Find the border a little bit. You could do the armor plates here with box modeling as well. Using, yeah, starting from a sphere, from a cube or a plane, and then model it as a low poly model. But I want to do it as I would in ZBrush. And this is by sculpting on a higher poly model. Redis, are you using a laptop or PC? I'm using a laptop at the moment, but I think I will switch to a PC in the future, since yeah, it's not as practical when you work on it like all the time, because the keyboard is attached to the screen and it clutters up the desktop. So I will probably switch to a PC as soon as I can afford one. Foxy. I will call you Foxy. I don't know how to pronounce the name otherwise. Google says that the flap of the duck's wing can break your nose, and that is at their normal size. Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty strong for their size. Could be that the scene radius unit influences the strength as well, and the spacing. So, spacing distance I have to switch as well. Yeah, that made the difference. And adjust strength. So that makes sense. Still learning. But it's a really cool software so far. So I think I will go around the edge one more time, just to give it more volume to work with. Michael, hey, nice to see you back. Hope you're having a good day. We're currently adding detail to the armor, and I think today we will get to a point where I will do all the rest offline, so I can show you the finished prints on the next stream, and I will post some pictures on the Discord channel, so you will be the first to see the results. And yeah, so today I want to add all the missing accessories, like small bags, the spear, then the sandals, his shoes, and yeah, then we're good to go to printing it. Drawer, yeah, that's a good idea. I used the scrap brush for the knee plate, but let's try out the multi-plane. So there are actually some interesting brushes here that are very different from how ZBrush handles them. So the multi-plane brush, for example, is one that I haven't seen in ZBrush yet. But let me adjust the settings here to match the other brushes. I think that's gives great results. It saves actually a lot of time, because you don't have to do the other side. Thanks for the suggestion. Michael, yeah, me too. I'm really excited about holding it in my hands. And in the last days I printed some new models that I'm not ready to show yet. Maybe I will post some pictures later on the Discord channel. And because I set up my printer again this week, so everything's ready to be printed. I think I will go with the scrape brush over it one more time. Bring it up here. I think here I will use the grab brush just to get the curves out of the model. There were wavy parts. Here as well. So I think I will enhance the edges, the corners here, by going over the edge like this. Sharpen it up a little bit. And on the inside here I will make a small indent. Well, I think that's fine. One more time with the raw sharp brush, just to separate the materials, so to say. So the metal border, I imagine it to be a metal border, and then some kind of leather or maybe another armor plate on the inside. I think here it should be only one plane, so I'm taking out one edge. And see here, prior it was small plane change here, and I'm taking that away. Clean that up a little bit. Logan, Blender sculpting tip. If you hold Control Shift and drag, you will draw a lasso mask selection. Let's try that. Cool. Is there a shortcut for the masking brush? Because now I think I have to switch to the masking brush and then back to the brush that I was using. So if there is a shortcut for that, I would be really interested in that. Yeah, sometimes the selection itself is enough. but I think the smoothing function of the mask brush is really important, just to get more control over the masking. But the lasso will come in handy, be sure. So I think this is looking good. So let's see, on the concept I had some bolts in the corners, so I will add them here as well. Or probably just sculpt them. I don't have to add another object for that. So let me use the clay brush. And probably quickly just draw out a small bolt. They're going to be really tiny on the print, so yeah, I don't have to spend too much time on these. And from that distance they look, I think, convincing enough. So let's stick with them for now. So I think the armor works. So I will go into layout and then into edit mode to delete the other side here. And then I can duplicate the armor plate here. So let's do that with Shift D, putting on a mirror modifier on the, let's see, on the flip. Let's see, FTGA RO, did you get a haircut? Yeah, I did it to myself. I did my own haircut, I think 5 days ago. It was about time, so I'm glad I don't have to go through the heat with all the hair on my head anymore. So now that it's mirrored, we can put it over here, set the origin to geometry, and then rotate it into place. Yeah, during Corona times it was quite a mess with not having a barber shop available, so at one point I was like, I have to cut it myself, and it was okay. I mean, I could only see the front in the mirror and I couldn't see anything on the back side, but yeah, it worked out good enough. Mo, hey! Thanks for stopping by again. I hope you're having a great day. If you just joined, we are continuing with the goblin here, and I think we will get to a point today where I will just do the cleanup in ZBrush, where I merge everything together. Could be done in Blender as well, but yeah, since Blender has a bit more struggles with handling so many polygons, and this is quite a complex character, I will probably do that in ZBrush, just because it's faster and I'm not doing that during the stream. So yeah, by the end of this stream, the character should be more or less done. And then in the next stream, I can show you the printed result, the finished miniature. And I will post some pictures on my Discord server, on my Patreon Discord server, so they will see the results first. Yeah, we tried it out on the last stream of the Goblin using the remesher, and it took a while and it didn't give the results that we needed. So I think that's looking good. Let's see. Let's add some bags onto him. Small addition to the belt, just to make it a bit more interesting, giving a bit more character. So I think I will leave the sphere in the origin. So object mode, mesh, UV sphere, and then sculpt it with symmetry, just to get a head start. So go into sculpting, turn off the goblin, use the remesh, smooth everything, and let's create a small bag. Logan, yeah, I heard that the quad remesher plugin was made by the same people who did it for ZBrush. So if it's similar to that and you don't have ZBrush, I would actually recommend to get it, because ZRemesh and ZBrush is really powerful and I use it almost all the time. Blue Z G, do you mean the goblin? Drawer. Quad remesh is also available for all the other 3 programs. That's cool. So what I want to do is to create a small hole here, so I can drag out the sides of the bag. Let's see, I want to have a round bag that is tied to his belt. Astrotelis. I hope I pronounced the name correct. Hey, are you going to print it by yourself? Yes, I will print it on a resin printer. It's a similar one, or similar to the Elegoo Mars, and this one is called Nova 3D Bene 4. This is the printer. I was sponsored by the company for creating this miniature here, not this one, this one. It's a small ghoul that I did, and you can see the video of that on my channel. So yeah, I did this one in ZBrush, and I printed that on the Bene 4, which is really similar to the Elegoo Mars. And yeah, currently set up here at my home, and currently printing a lot more. Finally again. I just printed out some bases a couple days ago, and I dry brushed them really quickly just to enhance the contrast. And yeah, this is something that I'm currently working on to get more stuff printed, but more of that will come soon. Still have to finish up some stuff and do some more models. Bags of money! Yes, probably stole some stuff from innocent villages. So this one is going to be really, really rough, since I will do the rest once it's placed onto the goblin. Let's place it onto his belt. And then we can deal with intersections later. Draw, make base in 3D program. I did some bases in ZBrush, but maybe we can do some, or the base for the goblin here in Blender as well. It shouldn't be too complicated. Yeah, that's basically it. But with some extra work, you can get some really decent results and some really cool looking bases. So you could get some profit from it. That's good. This will be really hard to reach when you want to paint it. So I think I will put it a bit more forward here, if it doesn't make it too awkward, but I think that's okay. Maybe I will separate the hands or the arms for printing as well, so you attach that later. This way you can more easily paint these, how do you say it, hidden areas here. So maybe if I detach the cape, it's easier to print and to paint. Maybe. I think I have to do some trial and error on that one as well. this one, Shift D, just duplicate it to get another bag in there. And I'll probably move that one to this side. Can imagine that he stole quite a bit. It's better to have more bags. Astrotilus, thanks for the sub. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I want him to look like a guy that came around quite a bit. So I think having these bags here suggests that a little bit. Let's see the cape here, sculpting mode. I will use the front faces only on the grab brush now, just so I can pull the cape onto the rest of the body here to close the gaps. And I was influencing the other side despite the front faces only, so I think I have to mask that first. Let's see if it came through. No. So now I should be safe to push that here, close the gaps. Greenskins are not thieves who borrow things without intent of giving it back. And dead villagers don't need any money anyways. Yeah, that's true. Good rationalization of your behavior. I think I forgot to mask these areas here, but it should be fine. Let's push that here and clear the mask. Let's see how much damage cape got, but that looks fine. Now let's switch to the bags here and adjust the shape a little bit more, so they're a bit distinguishable from each other. Yeah. And one is always smaller than the other one. So now we can add some ropes to hold them in place so they doesn't seem like they're glued on. And let's create the torus and move it. Seems like someone got the reference. So I will duplicate them one more time. So I have like some kind of a knot going on. And then I can adjust them here with a grab brush. And I will inflate them just to, yeah, make them easier to read from the distance. Something like Astrotilus, have you heard about Elegoo Saturn 4K? Yes, I have. Really excited for the higher resolution displays. I heard that the print size is bigger, so I'm not sure if the density or pixel per inch is that much higher, but from the results that I saw already, I think it was Uncle Jesse's channel, he had a review of the Saturn 4K, and the prints came out really good. So yeah, if they get it, the XY resolution, if they increase the quality of that, I think it would make it worth to buy a new printer for that. Because right now the XY resolution is a bit soft on some parts when you get details in your face, for example. Then on this tiny scale, the resolution is sometimes not enough with the Elegoo Mars right now and the Nova 3D printer that I currently have. But it will probably be the same difference as full HD monitor to a 2K or 4K monitor. So I think I have to see the results for myself to decide on that. Drawer, the USB port is no longer on the back. That would be a nice addition. It's always a hassle to go on the back side to put in the USB stick there. And yeah, I don't know why they did that. Doesn't make any sense. So, sculpt mode. I just want to push them into the pants a little bit more so they don't have so much of an overhang, which would require more supports. So I hope that is fine. All right. He is taking shape. Cool. So I think the belt could need a bit of cleanup. It's a bit too soft at the moment. Why am I not able to select? Maybe I have joined that to the rest. All right. Yeah. For the posing, I joined a few of the accessories, the cloth, shirt, straps on the legs into one mesh to make it easier for posing. So belt buckle turned off. Clear the mask. And I will use the draw brush to get a sharper edge here. Let's go with topology, just so we don't affect the rest of the accessories. Just want to give it a bit more definition. Logan, does anyone know why my sculpting brushes sometimes switch to alternative cut deflate on their own? Is it a known bug? Don't know. I haven't experienced that yet, but maybe it's because of pressing the shortcuts, like the X for the draw and then deflate, you mean? No. Maybe you accidentally press on some shortcuts, but don't know exactly. That ever happened to me. Can't remember it anyways. At least. So, belt buckle is horrible. Let's work a little more on that one. Chaz, how performance feel compared to ZBrush? It's a bit slower. Actually quite a lot slower when it comes to handling large amounts of polygons. So performance-wise, ZBrush is better when it comes to that. But Blender does have some really interesting tools that make some things faster. The cloth brush is really amazing. So yeah, I mean, Blender can do so much more than ZBrush when it comes to different how do you say it? Yeah, like animating, rigging, can do everything from compositing, editing. So yeah, it's no wonder that ZBrush is better at sculpting because it only does sculpting. But you can get quite far with just the tools here in Blender, as you can see here. I only jumped into ZBrush for the posing, since it was quite a mess to pose so many different objects at once in Blender. And I used the zero measure function in ZBrush, which could basically be swapped out with the quad remesher plugin that you can get for Blender as well. So if you're not going to dive into like skin pores and really fine details that require lots and lots of polygons, then you can get like 90% done with Blender. So, or maybe 100% as well. So, yeah. And for knowing the software for only a few weeks now, and only learning it during the stream. It's pretty powerful and easy to learn. I mean, I have the advantage that I know other 3D softwares quite well. For example, Maya. And this makes it easier for me to learn a new software. But still, there's so many great resources out there to learn from. And the Blender community is just really welcoming. So it's a perfect time to get into it. I'll flatten it more, just so it's going into the belt, merges with it, to again avoid some overhangs. Chess, I think Substance Painter or similar software can help with micro details via normal maps. Yeah, that's true. Especially Substance Painter, which is really powerful when it comes to layering things and getting to the really fine texturing details. But nothing beats properly sculpted displacement maps. Maybe in addition with textures. So there's a common workflow that involves Mari, which is the industry standard for texturing for the visual effects industry. And there you would paint the displacement maps from scanned data and then import them into ZBrush and do the final touch-ups there. So combination of sculpting and texturing. Draw or skull for a belt. We can do that. Probably only the half of a skull, so you only have a mask, but yeah, let's do that. I think it could fit the character. So let's go into the layout and add a new sphere, UV sphere. I will lift it up, place it here, and then we can hide the, let's hide the spear. Spear. So, sculpting. Turn on the mirror modifier and let's remesh it. So I will probably do like an animal skull. It could fit a bit better, like that. Take the clay brush to get some definition. So. I'll smooth everything out just to get a fresh, clean base that I can then sculpt more on. So use the draw brush to enhance some lines. Let's hide the goblin for a minute. And the backs. I think that should be sufficient for the build. Let's see. Put it more here. And when we hide the belt buckle, where is it? Belt buckle. I think it fits nicely. Horse and spear. I think that is a good addition. Bearded Tit, thanks for the heads up on that one. Seems like I have to start a new stream. Oh my god. That's so annoying. It happened to me 2 weeks ago, or 1 week ago. So that's very unfortunate. I think I have to direct everyone to the to Twitch. It seems to be way more stable and more friendly towards streamers. So just sorry for the interruption of the sculpting, but YouTube is a real pain. No, not for now. allow the stream. So I will be back here on Twitch as well in just a couple of seconds. I have to restart the stream, so bear with me. I will be back in a minute. Hello everybody. All right. Thank you, Ballerino. Hey, thanks for stopping by again. Let's see. It seems like there's a problem with YouTube again. It seems like there's a problem. So thanks, Michael, for the feedback. Just for everybody that is on YouTube right now, there seems to be something broken with YouTube's live stream software algorithm. I don't know what. So yeah, it would be cool if you could switch to Twitch. I think this is something that I will do in the long-term future, to switch completely to Twitch because it's more stable, and yeah, avoid these getting kicked out of YouTube and having to restart the stream, which is annoying to you and annoying to me as well. So yeah, check out the link in the description. It directs you to my Twitch account, and yeah, hopefully there we can have longer streams without interruption. And last time the second stream that I started didn't last as long as well, so I hope this time it will be here for a bit longer. But if the stream stops again here on YouTube, please go to my Twitch account and I will continue the stream there. I think it's yeah, it's a bit unfortunate to restart the stream all the time. So bearded tit, yeah, I think if you're currently on Twitch and you're comfortable with that, please stay there. So I will try to advertise the Twitch account on the next streams as well. So yeah, we don't have these hiccups anymore. So thanks everyone if you're on Twitch. So where were we? I hope it wasn't dead for too long before I noticed it. But we added the skull on the belt buckle. Thanks for the suggestion again, Joao. And I think we can move on to the feet to give him some sandals, some shoes that he can walk on. So I will use the cylinder for that, because I want to have the round edges that I can manipulate. So let's see. I think I will go from the bottom side on the in isometric view, and then use the sculpting feature with the move brush. But before that, I should apply all the transforms. This should work better. And now I'm pushing and pulling it into place, making a really rough shape. And let's from here. Ezer Belhassen. Belhassen? Don't know how to pronounce it. Thanks. If you're currently on YouTube, the stream was interrupted by YouTube just a couple minutes ago. If it happens again, check out the link in the description to my Twitch channel. This is more stable on that side, so I stream on both sides simultaneously at the moment. So yeah, if you're interested in that or would like to have a more stable connection, check out the Twitch stream. I'm trying to roughly follow the outline of the foot, so I can add some straps and so on. Is there? Sure, I'll be there. Thanks. Thanks. Yeah, I'm thinking about not streaming on YouTube in the future. So yeah, I'm putting all the live streaming on Twitch and then do recaps and time-lapse videos of the process on my YouTube channel. So they're a bit separated. Let me know what you think about that. This is something that I'm currently having in mind. But maybe you like it the way it is. And I'm always happy for any feedback. So I think this is good enough. Following the silhouette a bit more, make it a bit more interesting. That should be fine. Yeah. And we can add the straps. I will use a cylinder for that and make it really flat like this, and then scale it down more as well. So something like this, maybe rotating it a little bit, and then I can go into sculpting again to adjust it, giving it its final place. And I'm letting it come all the way through, so you can see here that there is no gap because of the printing later on. Ah, thanks. I'm glad I pronounced it right. I don't get feedback on that often, so I appreciate that. So I'll move it around a little bit, and I will just cramp in the rest of the geometry inside of the foot, so it will get merged with the rest of the model when I'm cleaning everything up. I don't have to worry about the messed up topology here. It will be hidden anyways. The same thing. So learn for life while sculpting. If you can, then just hide it and don't worry about it anymore. I think it works better in digital than in real life, but it's worth a try. I think I'm putting on I'm remeshing it, so I can get a bit of rounded edges and stuff. Smooth it out a little bit, and then take the draw brush with the still sharp fall off sharp here, and this way I can give it some beveled edges, some more interesting forms. Now the feet and the cap are on different planes. I'm afraid I don't quite understand what the feet and the cape... Ah, that's what you mean. Yeah, that's true. I think I then have to drag down the cape a little bit more in the end. I think for the final adjustment of all the height and stuff, I will wait on that until we do the base. So maybe we add some rocks or branches or leaf hills or whatever to make the base a bit more interesting, and then we can place the cape onto it accordingly. So well. Hello everybody. I think today yeah, something is against me. Alright, so I had some technical issues. Yeah, it's quite a mess. I'm sorry everybody for all the troubles right now. Let's see. Sculpting in Blender. Yeah. I don't know what's going on today. Seems like the connection is not as stable. But we're back up. So when it happens again, I think I will leave it for today and do it on offline, like the rest of the model, or continue with it next week, because it's quite a mess right now. I hope that everybody on YouTube jumped over to Twitch now. So let's see. I will give it a moment to see if people see it. So yeah, for everyone on YouTube, please check out the my Twitch stream. I will put the link in the description. And yeah, jump on over to Twitch. It makes everything more stable and easier to handle while I'm doing the sculpting. So, Fight Games. Hey, thanks for stopping by. If you just stopped by, please head over to my Twitch channel to have a more stable stream. Missing no upload. Hello, I'll be a lurk on your stream as I need to study, but hi anyway. Hey, hope you're having a successful study session. And please check out the link to my Twitch channel. YouTube is somehow seems kind of broken, so it kicks me out of the stream from time to time. And this is annoying to you and annoying to me, so I think I will make the transition completely to Twitch in the next weeks. Thanks a lot. Bearded Tit, thanks. Eggy, are you missing no uploader, or are you another viewer? So just so I can connect the names. Ah, nice. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the transition. Oh. Ah, Bearded Tit. Ah, thanks. Good to know who is who. So let me duplicate it to so I can have a strap on the back of his foot as well. So something like that here, and the rest I can do in sculpting mode. Eggy, goblin looks great, and I'll be lurking in the background to tend to my studies. All the best to you. Glad you like it so far. It could be that it's the heat. Could be that our internet provider is currently having some problems as well. I will not... Let's see. Yeah, the streams are getting chopped up. This doesn't make any sense. Yeah, let me quickly write a community post that I don't do another stream on YouTube, but continue it here on Twitch, because it's quite the hassle to set up a new stream on YouTube all the time. Michael, will the streams be uploaded to YouTube after, or will they live on your Twitch for later viewing? Twitch only saves the clips for, I think, 2 weeks and then deletes them, but I will re-upload them later on YouTube as well for the playlist that I posted on Patreon. So, and I will probably edit everything together so you don't have to watch chopped up streams. And yeah. Yeah. It's quite the fail today. Let's hope that it doesn't continue like that. But as much as I know my luck, it will probably happen again and again. So could make up for a nice compilation later on. We'll quickly. All right. Let's hope for the best. So, where were we? It's always so. It's hard to switch all the time. But maybe it's a good exercise as well. Yeah, these events are perfect to procrastinate. But I hope they don't happen again. I think I have to get a more or a better internet cable. Maybe it makes it a bit more stable. The connection is actually really good, but today there seems to be some issues with it. I'm trying to be fast to finish the accessories that are still missing. So let's put the sandals. I think the sandals are good enough like they are. We can make them a bit smoother here on the outside. And then put on a division surface. I think that's alright. I'll go one more up, something like that, and apply it. And now I can join these two, duplicate it, or no, not duplicating it, but I will go to the mirror option, apply it, and then I can just grab one side. I put it there, and then I rotate it into place. See if the size is the same. Placement looks not too bad. I think we can leave it like that. And in sculpting, I will do the last touch-ups. So I will probably cover the backside of the foot, the right foot of him, with the cape in the cleanup. But we will see a little bit of that still. So yeah, that looks good. Everything's still working. The stream isn't interrupted yet. That's good. That's very good. I mean, we're so close to finishing that goblin, and now all the problems start. But we will get it finished. Let's see. This looks quite promising. I'm really looking forward to the print. I'm just checking YouTube to see if yeah, some accidental streams got started, but seems like it's still working. That it's not working. This spearhead, I will do that one next. So let me first organize the thing here a little bit, naming it so I can yeah, see what I'm manipulating and what I can delete. Here should be the bags. I can join them with the ropes, make it a bit more organized. Bags. Geo. Matthias 2020. Hey, what is the approximate profit margin for selling a single miniature? If you're only selling a single miniature, the profit really depends on the amount that you're selling, I think. I'm not that experienced in the business side of miniatures now. I'm just starting with all of that, but it really depends on how many people you reach with your miniatures. So if you, especially if you sell just the 3D files, if you sell resin casts or printed miniatures, then it's something different, but you have to take into account how many hours you spent for the mini, then what you want as an hourly rate, and then divide that with the amount of minis that you sell. Then yeah, either raise the price to get more income, but having lesser customers, less amount of customers, or decrease the cost of one mini, the price of one, and then maybe you can reach more. So Yeah, I think there's no right answer. You have to try things out and see if they work for you or not. I think there are different cases where some things work better than others. So I wanted to create the head of the blade of the spear. So I will move these ones into the goblin collection, and then I can create a cube that we can shape into our blade. I will block it out really roughly, something like that. And then I can go into editing and create some edge loops. And I'll try to delete one side and then put on a mirror modifier to only focus on one side and not having to worry about the other side. So this one, modifier, mirror, and put on that button there so we can see the results directly. So now I will just put the things into a rough shape. I think it was more like this. And then this side get longer. So, let's check with the reference. That's looking good on that side. Let's do the back side here. E, and then scale it down. Just checking. It's good. I will add another edge loop here so I can move this face here further down. Clipping. Let's see what difference it. Clipping. I think. Is it the function where it stays in the center? Not quite sure. I didn't see a difference. Ah, I see. All right, that makes sense. Thanks. The reason why I'm going into the orthographic view here is that I can select the vertices that I want to move and only have to press G And I don't have to worry about messing up the symmetry x-axis. I think this is looking good. I will add another one up here, just so I have a bit more resolution to work with. And let's shape that here into a more rounded form. Let's try how it looks when we do the subdivision surface. Just to see where we need to add some support loops. And as you can see, it's really undefined now at the moment. And doesn't look dangerous at all. So let's change that. Dangerous banana. Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of that if I encounter someone with this kind of a knife. So we have that. Let's scale. Scale it down a little bit again and move it in the orthographic view. Something like that. Scale it down on the x-axis and move it down so the edge of the blade has a more uniform thickness. So probably, let's see, just thinking about beveling the middle of the blade here, but there seems to be a bit of messed up topology here. Still looks good, but the edge loop didn't continue all the way through, so maybe I had to just select them in sections. So having these selected, Control B. There is topology inside. So let's select them and then I delete them. Hopefully it will solve the problems, the errors. So back in the edge mode and with Alt the loop selection, and now we can bevel it. Oh, doesn't work. Maybe I have to apply the mirror modifier before that, because it's in the middle. Let's try. Yeah, now it works. So what I want to prevent with that is that there's really sharp geometry on the model, which makes troubles for the printing. So it's really brittle and breaks off very easily. So this is why I chamfer the edges here. So there's a hole in there, so I will cut that one in. By deleting these and bridging the edges here. Let's see, bridge edge loops. And then I can, with edge loop selected, use all the, or select all the other edges except these two, and then do the same again. And I did that in that order because sometimes when I bridge the whole loops as one, then it gets twisted up and everything. Yeah, which is not usable. So I, as a guide for the computer to see what faces they have to connect to each other, I start with one and then do the rest in one turn. So this is looking like that. I will put that into shape here. There's a small ring. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You could circularize this. I think there is a function here to make it a perfect circle, but for our purposes, it's looking fine. And to give it a bit more how do you say it? To define the edges a bit better when we do the subdivision modifier on that, I will extrude the inner circle inwards a little bit, so I have some edge loops going around. So like this. And this way it should be holding its shape more when I'm adding the subdivision surface. Alright. I forgot to add the edge loop here on that side, so I will add that here as well. Just like that. And another one on the top. Let's see, maybe we can add one here as well. And this should be sufficient. So yeah, I think we can stick that on the end of the spear. So I'll apply that and bring back the goblin. Roughly in place, then I scale it down to fit the size. It. And let's rotate it So. Maybe it's a bit too long, but I think, yeah, I will leave it for now like that. I think when we wrap around some stuff, like some bandages and so, then it comes together really nicely. Irritated, yeah, I think it's turned out not too bad. Could be that till Wednesday, or the stream on Wednesday, that I can get the print done, and I will, yeah, like I said, I will post some pics on the Discord server. All right, I think I will just sculpt the connection part here. I will add a sphere, UV sphere, and then use that as a base. And go to sculpting. Shift R for the resolution and Control R for applying the remesh. So now I have something to work on. To give it a bit more interest, I'm going to use the draw brush to define some some strips of bandage. Can then continue working on. And try to make them overlap each other. And there are more interesting shapes in there. And now in the other direction, increasing the height of the edges to separate them better. Susanna just subscribed. Hey, thanks for the sub. Let's see. It's looking too bad. Alright. Matthias is now following. Thanks for the follow. if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. So I think this works so far. So yeah, I will just push and pull it into place, and then I will add some of the feathers and stuff. Yeah, I think it's getting closer. Michael, are you gonna edge up that blade? Looks a little too clean for a thieving goblin. Yeah, I will add some scratches and stuff later as well. Maybe I can do that next, actually. Don't like that shape here. Let me clean that up. This one here. And so makes for better separation here. So yeah, let's jump onto the blade and let's do a quick remesh as well. After I applied the transforms. I forget that all the time. So, something like that. It should be good. Irritate. Yes, we can do that at the end. I think that should be fairly quick to set up as well. Let's see. Pre-scrape. Which brush could be good for making these slices? Maybe I will stick with the raw brush. And let's see, the fall off. Sharper. I think that's sufficient. So let's create some scratches in there. Yeah, I can post some pictures of the other bases that I did on the Discord channel later. I already did some renders, and yeah, they're all still work in progress, but that's what the channel is for. The Discord server, show what we are working on, so I will post it later. And for anyone who's interested in joining the Discord, check out my Patreon page. I will quickly write it in the chat. And there we can yeah, share what we are working on and just chat about tips and tricks and stuff. And yeah. So I will do some bigger marks here. And I'm not too concerned with the detail level, since the blade is going to be really, really small. Otherwise, I would use alpha maps and stuff to get some nice scratches on there. MWATT is now following. Thanks for the follow. So let's try the multi-plane scrape again. Just to see what... not working too great here. So here it hit, you can change the angle. Let's see. Plane angle 60 degrees. Right with 160. That's opposite side. Yeah, I think if the edge is on the outside, then it's easier. But in a crease like this, it seems to gets confused with the other side. So they're too close to each other here. I'll just use the scrape brush and do a bit of weathering on the blade. Just to break up the clean edges. I'd like to get that handcrafted feeling here, since it's a goblin scavenger that robbed some innocent villages. So yeah, things can be a bit uneven and improvised, weathered down and stuff. So yeah, maybe we can do sometimes in the future an orc, like that it's a small group that is, I don't know, setting up ambushes on travelers and stuff. Could be a nice combination of miniatures. Mo, when it's printed, will the weapon be removable? I'm thinking about cutting off the hands, so I can swap out the weapon, maybe add two blades, or a torch or something like that, and maybe change up the arm position as well. But I think for the first try I will leave the character as it is in one piece, and then I will do some variations of that character. So yeah. But it can definitely be done to swap that out. Let's create some scratches here as well. Oh. what I'm doing here is I establish one scratch, go over it with the draw brush multiple times to get a clean cut, and then I go over the edges on both sides with the additive side of the brush. So something like that. And this way it's really, yeah, big slash in there. We can even make it thicker here. Wider cut. Something like that. And to give the edge a bit of texture, I will go over it with a clay brush. Strength really low, and then carving into it. Not to 0, but maybe to 3. Something like that. And yeah, just to roughen up the blade a little bit. And the same on the other side. Supreme Sculpts. Yes, today was a bit of a struggle to get the stream going. It was interrupted multiple times again. So yeah, that was quite annoying. And I had to restart the stream, I think 3 or 4 times. And yeah, then I had to just leave it on YouTube, since it was always a struggle to create a new video, and then I had to connect it with the software that distributes the streams. So this way it's easier. And I hope I can fix that somehow. Since I like streaming that on both platforms, just to make it wider accessible to more people. But not today. So I will put the recordings of the stream edited together on my Patreon page. So if you're interested in that, head over to my Patreon account and you can get access to that. So I think the blade is looking good for the scale. I don't want to go crazy on the blade because yeah, it's going to end up really small. And I don't want to overload it with surface noise. So let's add another sphere for the bandages on the spear. I think this will add a little bit more detail. Just a second. I'll be back in a minute. A friend was just asking for some broccoli of mine that I still had in the fridge. So it was an emergency. So same with the bandage here. We'll just go into sculpting, then set the resolution, something like that, and with Control R, applying the remesh. So grab brush and then pushing and pulling it into place. I think the snake hook brush is even better for this one. Something like that. And I will probably merge these two here. It gets a bit more support once it's printed. Inflated like this. And then incorporate that into the bandages here. Always nice to have some kind of curves in these objects. Give it a bit more movement and yeah, more energy. So I think that's looking good. So I think what we could do next is to give the shaft of the spear a bit of detail. And after that I think we can add the base. So we're close to finishing up the model. At least for today. So selecting the shaft. First applying transforms, of course. And then going with the high resolution here. Let's see. Michael, will you add his satchel off stream? I'm not sure if I will even add the satchel. I'm not sure if it suits the character anymore. I incorporated that into my design, but I'm not sure if I actually like it. If it's something that you like, maybe I can add it as well. I just remeshed the shaft here, and I think the resolution was way too high. So Blender seems to be struggling right now. Michael, alright. I will think about it though. I mean, it adds more to the story of the character if he has more accessories on him. No, the shaft doesn't like that treatment. So it seems like it got stuck. Let's see. I hope it recovers in a bit. Okay, for some reason I had the body selected, so yeah, don't know what happened there, and I just remeshed that, which took quite some time. So yeah, this worked much better. So I want that to be a bit of a yeah, wooden stick. So I will add some branches and stuff like that. Not sure what the word for that is, but where the branch is attached to the wood. Just want to break up the clean, perfect straight lines and add some variation in thickness and stuff. I think it makes for a more interesting design and silhouette. So something like that. And then a bit more detail with the draw brush to give some harder edges here and there. Maybe trying to add some rhythm to the wood as well. So there are a lot of S-curves in there and making one shape flow into the other. And the same from the other side as well. So I think we're good to go to move on to the base. I think for that one I can hide the concept. And I think I will just quickly go over the straps here, just to give it yeah, a bit more of an organic look. Thanks, bearded tit. I always have to call out your name, which is kind of funny. So Let's reduce the resolution, increase the resolution, and get a bit of smoothing. Push it into place with the grab brush, just like that. And now I can add a little bit of wear and tear on the edges here. Just like that. And the same on the other side. Just to break up the surfaces when they are when light shines on them, that there's more interesting transition of the shadows there. And I'm dragging this out here a bit just for printing later on, just to avoid overhangs. Maybe it makes it easier for painting as well. It's something that I'm still having to learn. Like what placement and what kind of accessories are making it harder or easier to paint, and how much detail can I put in without making it too small and too fiddly. Michael Falk, how do you decide between dyne topo or using remesh? It seems like you prefer remesh, which is working great for your workflow. I guess as a newbie, I'm wondering when to use each one. That's actually a good question. A lot of people get confused with it. For ZBrush, I would go with Dynamesh all the time in the beginning, like always. The same here with Blender. And if I'm at the point where I'm satisfied with the silhouette, with the big shapes, and where I know that I don't change proportions so much that the topology gets stretched. For example, if I have the ears in place, then it's fine, but if I don't have the ears already in place, then I know that I have to add more loops and stuff to support them. So if all of that is covered and I think that I don't change the silhouette anymore, the big proportions, in a way that distorts the topology too much, then I create a low poly mesh to have access to the subdivision levels. And yeah, so this is the order of topology that I use. In the beginning, like dyne topo or Dynamesh, and once I'm happy with the overall silhouette, then I'm changing to the low poly and multi-res workflow. And in this case, it wasn't necessary for me since I didn't go into so many details that I had to have the level of subdivisions. Because if I would go a bit higher than that in polygons right now here in Blender, I think the performance would be really, really slow. And for some steps, it's easier to have a low resolution mesh. So yeah, I hope that helped a little bit. The cool thing about Dyntopo or Dynamesh is that it takes away a lot of the technicalities in the beginning. So if you're just trying to get a feeling for forms and stuff, forms, shapes, and sculpting in general, then I would stick with Dyntopo in the beginning, since you can complete a whole head or anatomy study with that without having to worry about any topology stuff or any modifiers that you have to dial in. So it was quite the relief when Dynamesh was released with ZBrush a couple of years ago. I think it was 6 years ago or so, or no, even longer. And yeah, that made the whole process way more intuitive. So I think the straps are looking good as well. So let's add the base. I think it's time for that now. And I will add a cylinder for that. Cylinder here. And I'll make it a flat one. Scale it up again. And then place it underneath the goblin. I think we can scale it up a little bit more. It's going to be a 25mm scale, so it will be really small. The base is 25mm wide, and then we have a good relation to the proportions of the other models. Thanks for the reminder. Yes, I will. Should have saved earlier as well, but now it's a good time. Yeah, it's a matter of practice and experience. I mean, if you do a couple of models, then you will learn that anyways. It's something that just comes with doing things over and over again and trying different things out. So yeah, try the things out that make the most sense, even though you might not know exactly how you get there in the beginning, but just yeah, follow your intuition, try things out, and some things work, some not. And ear tit, is it like 25mm equals 1 meter in real life? I'm not sure actually. I think let me see. I mean, the standing character takes up 25mm in space. So maybe no. I heard that one square, so one base size, 25mm, is 5 feet in the Dungeons and Dragons system. So yeah, 5 feet, which doesn't make sense in relation to the size of the characters, but yeah, don't know what the ratio exactly is. So I'm going to put that right underneath the foot, and I like to bevel the edges of the base a little bit like that. Yeah, 5 feet. I think it's around a meter and 1 meter 50, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, it's 1 meter 50. So, yeah, I always get confused with the imperial units as well. So, I will add another edge loop here, so it holds the edge better. And it's a classic support loop here. So we will have that here. I will add the subdivision surface times 2. And then I can apply that. So it's starting to look like an actual miniature. I'll probably clean up a lot on the hood area. So I will incorporate the, or not incorporate, but close all the holes around the head. Right now it looks a bit funky. And I will probably scale up the eyes as well. So let's get some detail onto the base. I think that's would be a lot of fun. So for that I'm going to use the, where is it? Plane. And then divide that into few squares. Let's see. Subdivide like this. And then I can hide the goblin. So, that didn't make any sense. I should add the cylinder, delete all the faces on the bottom. All the faces here, except the top face. And just like that. Then I can merge that into the center here as well. Because I want to have a separate mesh where I sculpt all the details on the floor on origin to geometry. So I can scale that up here. And then put it into place. I just want to have it separate to not mess up the clean base and to easily switch out different grounds. And I don't have to subdivide the base as high as I do with the ground, so it saves me a little bit of performance. So let's delete that. We had some faces intersecting each other. So let's see if we can remesh just the plane, or if it makes troubles. This, yeah, it has to have a volume, I think. So let's just trying to think of how to make the topology a little bit better to work with. Because right now the topology is really not evenly distributed. I think there was a add-on. Luisa Raphael just subscribed. Thanks for the sub. Remesh. Last time we had a plugin, but yeah, maybe we can go with a tiny bit of thickness here, just to make the remesher work. This. And this way we go back into sculpting after we applied the transforms, of course. And let's see, I'll just save and try my best. You can also delete the center faces in grid fillet. Let's try that one out. I will duplicate that just to have a test model. Because I'm interested in trying out workflows just to see what's the fastest and what works. So no, not that. This one. I'm just getting rid of other things now that I don't need. Because I only want to have a flat surface actually. And let's see. So edge context, bisect. Alright, how do I... Alright, if I never used the search function before, what button is that to press for that? F3 or space? F3, alright. Grid fill. That's awesome. Oh, that worked perfectly. This is exactly what I was looking for. So, such a luxury to have you guys give me tips. Makes it so much easier to learn the program. You can rotate it as well to match the topology. Ah, I see. Yeah, but this is fine. You mean that I could align it with the axis here? Yeah, but it doesn't really matter for the yeah, for the things that I want to do. Thanks for the tip. So let's get into multi-res modifier, and let's increase the subdivisions to, let's say, 3. I see. Yeah, so this is something that popped up a few times, but I never used the settings for the function. So yeah, for some things it seems to be pretty powerful as well. Let's see. Alright, it seems like the normals are reversed. So currently the normals are looking downwards. So seems like I have to orient the normals. Control N. All right. In edit mode. So let's see. Control N. Shift N. Recalculate normals. Inside, outside. Let me see. There must be some edge length, face, external normals. So, alright. This is looking good on that side. That should work. So. Normals, face orientation. Ah, I see. So from the inside it's red. Good to know. Thanks. So that was a bit of a workaround. Let's see. Yeah, that's perfect. So now I can, since I have the plane underneath the base, I can just push and pull things out and don't have to worry about messing things up on the base. I can always go back to the clean base, which is kind of handy. So increase the multi-resolution a bit more. Subdivide. And I want to just get some basic texture going on the base here. And it's quite random at the moment. So let's get some clay strips here. I think this gives a bit more of texture. It's not so blobby anymore. Let's see how it looks with the goblin on top. Alright. Maybe we can incorporate the feet a little bit here. And then drag out some larger shapes here. Just to give a bit of direction on the base itself. And of course, cleaning it up, adding a bit more interest here and there. But I think we're coming to an end for today. It was quite the roller coaster. Because of all the troubles in here during the stream. Thanks for your patience. It means a lot that you're still here. Despite all the hiccups. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Yeah, what a journey. Definitely. But yeah, we managed to come quite far. And I'm really looking forward to that mini being printed. Yeah, we managed to create a little goblin miniature. So this is something that excites me all the time when I see something like that and thinking about that it's going to be a physical thing. And yeah, I really like the process, even in Blender. Especially in Blender because of yeah, all the tools, new things that I was able to learn. And the viewport render. That's right, I wanted to do a rendering with that. It shouldn't take too much time, so let's do that. Thanks, Michael. Glad you like it. I will post some pictures later in the Discord, so yeah, you can see it a little bit more clearly. So for the black box, this one. For the rendering, I'm just setting up a simple scene. where I add the plane, a ground plane, to have a reflective surface here. Something like that. Scale it wider, and then I will extrude the edge like this to have a rounded background. Because I will going to bevel that edge here with a lot of subdivisions like that. And I'm basically doing a studio setup. And just going to get enough room so it gets covered. Everything is covered by the background in the final render. So let's do it like this. Zorito is now following. Thanks for the follow. So I will support the edges here, as well as here and here. So I can add a modifier, a subdivision modifier that I can apply, and this is looking good. So I can scale that up a little bit. And let's rotate it like this. So we have a nice background. And now I'm going to go into shading, in the shading tab. And I'm going here in the world. And you can see here the background that I can turn on and off. But there's still another light in the scene. And this is the light up here. So I will delete this. Bearded Tit, yes, I have. It's really powerful as well. I will come to that in a second. So let's go into the rendered view. As you can see here, nothing is going on. And I'm controlling the brightness with the background. So I will leave it as that. Is it the material preview? Yeah, I will get to the material in a second. For the setup of the HDRI, I already have a plugin enabled called Node Wrangler, and with that I can just really quickly set up the nodes that I need for the HDRI. So having the background selected, I can, through that add-on, hit Ctrl-T, and it sets up all the nodes that I need. So I basically just have to go into the environment texture, hit open, and go into my folder where I have my HDRIs, and then I can, for example, let's take the urban alley, and then I have that as a HDRI setup. So for my viewport, I can switch over to cycles and go to GPU compute. And I just set it to 16, so my computer is not running hot. And then I enable the optics AI. And this one is crazy fast. I really love this feature. So it's pretty noisy, and then boom, there it is. So yeah, let me quickly create a new material for the floor and for the goblin itself. So let's add a new material and call it ground, and then dial it down to deeper gray. So we can go into rendered view on this one. So we have a small goblin like that. And I will make it a bit darker as well. I think this looks quite cool. And if anyone can tell me, Michael, this is something that I was wondering about as well. It seems like it had material from ZBrush imported as well when I did the posing. Yeah. So the PM3D is a prefix from ZBrush, as far as I know. Yeah, me too. What I wanted to ask was if anyone can tell me how to apply the shader to multiple objects. So if I have a new shader here that I can easily select multiple meshes like this. So, for example, let's go to the where was it? Pants Geo. This was the whole character, so let's create a new one and call it clay material. And give it a little bit of red tint, a bit darker as well. I will delete this one. So like that. Select that object, go to material view and select the material. If you click all the objects, then the one that has the material you want last. Then Shift L and link materials. Alright. Try to see if that works. Control L. Let's use all of that, except the plane in the background. And go to material. And let's say Shift L. I don't know if that worked at all in the viewport. So do that again and control link materials. All right. Let's see if that worked. That seemed to work. Ooh, so much stuff to learn. Let's see how it looks when it's rendered. Thanks for all the tips. So, background plane as currently the material. So yeah, that seems to work quite well. Let's add some adjust the specularity a little bit and give it a bit of a clear coat to give really shiny highlights. I think another light could be interesting. I will use a point light. Just to light up the face of him a bit more. So let's increase the watt to that, to 4000 maybe. I think I made the scale of the goblin really big, so I have to increase the strength of the light quite a lot. Radius 10 meter. Something like that. Alright, I think now it's only a matter of increasing the samples so we get more of the detail shown. So let's do that. 64. So yeah, this is the viewport. I think this already looks really good for being that fast. And let's try to create a rendering. View, camera to view, camera here, and lock camera to view. Now we can set up the camera to do proper rendering. So let's hit F12 and let's see what we get. Shouldn't take too long. And together with the denoiser, it's really amazing how fast these renders go nowadays. I used to wait for, I don't know, 20 minutes or half an hour for an image like that when I started out. And it didn't even get close to the quality. The render engines today are like really, really good. So there's still some areas that are not working that I have to clean up, like the base, and I will add more details on the base as well. And yeah, but I think this wraps up the goblin character. It was quite the journey. It was a lot of fun to do. And yeah, thank you everybody for giving me tips during the process. It helped me quite a lot to learn Blender. And yeah, I will post some pictures of that in the Discord in the next days once it's printed. And if anyone is interested in my other streams that I did, for example, where we did the anatomy study here from start to that stage, check out my Patreon page. I think the link should be in the description or in the... let me write it in the chat. patreon.com/FynnGB, and you get access to the Discord server as well. And yeah, thanks. I hope you enjoyed it. D-Scub, thanks for coming. Mo, thank you. Bearded Tit, thank you. And Michael, thanks for your support as well. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day. And the next stream will be on Wednesday, where I will continue in ZBrush on this with this anatomy study. We'll probably start with the muscles and stuff. So yeah, bye everybody, and thanks a lot for joining, and I hope to see you next time as well. So take care and see you next time.